Hey guys, it's Natalie. I am back from BookCon and I cannot wait to share all the great books that I got with you, so please stay tuned. BookCon was amazing. I cannot say how great it was. If you have the opportunity to go in the future, I definitely recommend it. It was a bit overwhelming, which I knew it would be the first time. I am very, very sorry. I wanted to do a vlog, and I told you guys I was going to do a vlog, and I was going to show you all the different things at BookCon and stuff, and I was not 100% when I went, so I did not make a vlog. I apologize, but I have the next best thing. I met up with Books with AlyssaJ. AlyssaJ was so wonderful. I was so excited that I got to meet her. She is so sweet. She is so, oh my gosh, so beautiful in person. I mean, she's already really pretty. We can tell from her videos, but in person, she is really, really beautiful. But anyway, she made a vlog and it is amazing. She found so many booktubers. You can really get a good idea of what BookCon was like, the energy that was there. I appear in it maybe 2 or 3 times, so I really recommend that you watch it. Like I said, I apologize that I did not make one, but even if I had made one, it would not have been as good as hers anyway. So I'm going to link her vlog in the description. Check it out. Like I say, I appear 2 or 3 times along with lots and lots of other booktubers. You get a good look at BookCon. It's amazing. Check it out, check it out, check it out. Now, BookCon officially opened at 10 a.m. on Saturday morning. And when it opened, yes, we were in a big old line, but I wasn't too far back. People take off running because ARCs start dropping right when BookCon starts. And I knew that the book I really wanted dropped at 10:30, and there was a book I was pretty interested in that's dropped at 10. So my husband, being in a much better shape than I and being able to run, took off for that 10 o'clock book while I power walked over to get in line for the 10:30 book, and everything worked out. We got the 10 o'clock book and we got the 10:30 book, so that was really great. And I cannot wait to show you what the 10:30 book was, because if that was the only book I got, that would have been just fine. It is my most anticipated release of the year, and I still can't believe I got an ARC of it. So my husband went a-running to go get a copy of Curse. Now this is going to be a Netflix series in spring of 2020, and it's supposed to be kind of like King Arthur but with a girl. That's the gist. Of course I haven't read it yet, but that's kind of the idea that I've kind of gotten from that. It says, whoever wields the sword of power shall be the one true king. But what if the sword has chosen a queen? What if the Lady of the Lake was destined to unite her people? So I cannot wait to read this, and I was very concerned. I'm like, well, when is it going to be a series? Is it going to be like super soon? I know they're dropping so many series over the summer. And I saw, oh, no, this is not getting dropped. The series doesn't start till I think spring of 2020. So I've got time. So yeah, this sounded really interesting. There's a lot of buzz about this book. Obviously, I haven't read it yet, but when I read it, I will definitely tell you whether you should go pick it up and read it. It officially comes out in October, so not too long from now. Now, the book at 10:30 was the only book I needed to get. I power walked. I have a very bad knee. Running was not an option for me, but I power walked over. And luckily at BookCon, they're really, really good about not having you wait in line for hours and hours just so that you can be told, oh, sorry, we've run out of that book. No, they hand out tickets. So let's say they come with 300 copies of an ARC. They make up 300 tickets. And once those 300 tickets are passed out, then, you know, not to get in that line. You missed it. So I saw the lady who had the tickets, and I got the ticket in my hand, and at that point I didn't know all the rules, so I said, so if I had this ticket, then I'm getting the book, correct? She said, if you have a copy of that ticket, represents a book, a copy of the book. And I was just like, phew. But of course it didn't drop till 10:30, and I had to get in a very long line, but that was okay because the book was the book called The Starless Sea. Yes, the woman who wrote The Night Circus. We all knew that she had written another book, that it was dropping this year, and I cannot believe I got an ARC of it. If this is the only book I got, like I said, I would have been fine. And since it has quite a complicated synopsis, I am going to read just a little bit of it, because I think if I, in my own words, started explaining, I think I would get lost myself and I'd be stumbling over words. So let me just read this part. It says, Zachary is a graduate student in Vermont when he discovers a mysterious book hidden in the stacks. As he turns the pages, he reads something strange, a story from his own childhood. Bewildered by this book and desperate to make sense of how his own life came to be recorded, Zachary uncovers a series of clues, a bee, a key, and a sword. that lead him to a masquerade party in New York. Oh my gosh, wouldn't you love to go to a masquerade party in New York? Doesn't that sound freaking fabulous? Oh my gosh. I guess we kind of get to if we read this book. And then to the secret club and through a doorway to an ancient library hidden far below the surface of the earth. What Zachary finds in this curious place is more than just a buried home for books and their guardians. It is a place of lost cities and seas, lovers who pass notes under doors and across time, and of stories whispered by the dead. So he's supposed to go into this whole underworld realm. It just sounds super, super exciting. I hope it's as good as the Night Circus. Hey, I hope it's better than the Night Circus. Wouldn't that be great? But I will say I'm a little intimidated by it. This is very, very heavy. I don't want to start reading it and not be good because I've been, building this up for so long. But I think in a week or two, I will probably jump into it. I'm still finishing up a couple of books that I'm putting in my May wrap-up, which will be dropping this weekend. But yeah, I'm just going to have to bite the bullet and read this. But it's probably going to take me a while. I wish you guys could feel how heavy it is. So since my husband got that 10 o'clock book rather quickly, he came and waited with me in line. And then he took my spot so that I could kind of wander around a little bit. And I got to pick up a few more books as I was wandering around, which was nice. That's the cool thing about BookCon. You kind of can just be wandering around and just kind of stumble across a booth that'll be like, oh, here's the book. So I walked by this one booth and people were like running to this booth and just grabbing the books, and I guess they were a bunch of historical fiction, but I grabbed this one and I was nice about it. I went up to the lady, I said, we can take these, right? She's looking at me going, yeah, don't you see all these people grabbing these books? I'm sorry, I'm trying to be polite. So this one looked the most interesting. It's called Lessons in Survival, all about Amos. It's kind of a historical fiction memoir kind of a thing. Amos was born in Israel, raised in post-World War II Germany under difficult financial circumstances and with parents who suffered the effects of having been in concentration camps, which that sounds super intense. He managed to succeed against all odds, despite having been the only Jewish boy in his school classes amongst 700 students. He eventually moved to New York City, where he became a doctor and a professor. And I guess this is supposed to just be a very inspirational book. It's not too long. And it sounds really good. I will definitely let you know how it turns out. Now, some of the booths like to have a little fun when they're giving away their books. They don't just want to give away their books. They want to have a little fun. They were where you could go to places where you got to like spin like Wheel of Fortune kind of things. I went to this one booth where there was a big die. Like there's a pair of dice. Well, there's one and it had 6 sides because one die has 6 sides on it. And I believe 2 of the sides had a book and then the rest of them had colors. So I don't know, maybe you want a tote bag. Luckily, when I rolled it, I actually landed on one of the book sides and I got a book called The House of Salt and Sorrows by Aaron A. Craig, and I had never heard of it. I was just excited to be getting a free book and that I didn't land on the tote bag. And it sounds really good. It's about this main character. She's named Anna Lee, and she's one of 12 daughters, and 4 of the girls have died in really weird ways. Like one died of the plague, one fell, one drowned, one had a slippery plunge. And then it says, then there are whispers throughout the villages that her family is cursed by the gods. She starts seeing all these ghostly visions, and then she starts to become suspicious that maybe her 4 sisters that died, they weren't accidents. Meanwhile, her other sisters are sneaking out every night to go to these like glamorous balls, and she's not sure whether she should like go party with them or, are these glamorous balls are going to, dangerous? Like, who are they really partying with? In fact, right here it says, who are they really dancing with? And then she gets involved with some mysterious stranger who has secrets of his own, and she's in a race to unravel the darkness that has fallen over her family before it claims her next sister. So I don't know, that sounds pretty good. It definitely sounds like something that would interest me. So House of Salt and Sorrows. And when does this come out? Not too long. So if this is good, it's going to come out in August. So that's not too long from now. So if I do enjoy it and I tell you you need to read it, you won't have to wait too long to get a copy of it. So House of Salt and Sorrows. I like that. I like that name a lot. The House of Salt and Sorrows. I also walked by this booth that was more of a children's booth, but it had this, and they were passing them out. It's called Secret Smithsonian Adventures, The Wrong Rights. And as a teacher, I thought this sounded really cool. This is a debut, and the whole idea of it is, it says, this is the first book in the Secret Smithsonian, this is the first book of Secret Smithsonian Adventures. 4 middle schoolers visiting the Smithsonian discover that someone is tampering with history. They use their history and science smarts to foil the bad guys trying to rewrite history. And they get to time travel. In this one specifically, someone has messed up the history of flight. And so they get to travel in time, and they get to, you know, make sure history is put back the way it's supposed to. And obviously, by having this fun adventure, then you're also teaching kids history, which I love it when we are able to teach people in a fun way. So I will definitely hold on to this and read this, and definitely let my fellow teacher friends know about this book. And of course, I have fellow teacher friends that are booktubers. So I will say it again, it's called Secret Smithsonian Adventures, and I think this is the first one, but it's going to be a series that's really going to help kids learn about history. So you might want to check it out or look it up on Google. All right, the next book I got, I was so excited to get it. It's called Stepsister. Now this one is actually already out. It came out May 28th of 2019. Even though I think technically this was an ARC because it says uncorrected proof, I think they just had a whole bunch of leftover ARCs. And plus I actually got to get this signed somewhere. Signed by the, yeah. I actually got to get this one signed by the author, which was really exciting, and I love what this book is about. The idea is the person who wrote this said she grew up hearing about Cinderella, and she noticed that in fairy tales that it was always the beautiful princesses or just the beautiful girls that were always the heroes or the ones that deserved to get everything, and that the girls that weren't so attractive were the ugly stepsisters, you know, were always the bad guys. And it kind of, you know, sent the message that, oh, if you're a beautiful woman, then you must be good, and if you're an ugly woman, you must be bad. And she goes even further, talking about how the stepsisters weren't as compliant. You know, Cinderella was so compliant, and she whistled while she worked, kind of a thing. And this woman wanted to tell the story of one of the stepsisters, and I believe, what did she say her name was? She says, her name is Isabel, and her story is the book you're holding. She's not pretty, good, or compliant. Spending time with her got me thinking about the notion of beauty and who gets to define it. I saw how all too often we believe what others tell us we are. We let their words define us. We take the poison apple they offer us and bite right into it. So I cannot wait to jump into this. I love the message that I think she's trying to tell with the story. And I love when they're taking fairy tales and they're trying to do different spins. I'm reading the Lunar Chronicles. I love how they're doing sci-fi retellings of fairy tales. I have Heartless. I have not read that yet, by Marissa Meyer, which is supposed to be the Queen of Hearts and her point of view. I got to see the play Wicked, you know, where you get to see the Wicked Witch of the West's point of view. I love just seeing other points of views, especially when it comes to fairy tales. So this one I'm super excited about. Cannot wait to tell you about. I probably will read this one this month. This will probably be in my June wrap-up. Okay, this next arc is called The Shadow King, and I didn't have to wait in line for this. Oh, by the way, it's by Maza Mingisti. Ooh, gosh, I hate butchering these names. It is an advanced reader copy, but for this one, I just had to sign up for a newsletter. They just scanned your badge, and I guess I'm going to be getting a newsletter from somebody. I don't know. But once you signed up for their newsletter, then they had maybe 5 arcs, and you got to choose one, and I asked the lady, I said, well, what is the best one? And she said, oh, I would grab this one. This is the best one in my opinion, and they're going really fast. I don't know a whole bunch about it other than it's historical fiction. It says its characters fight in Ethiopia's struggle for independence from fascist Italy. So that sounds really intense. It also says it's a beautiful and devastating work of women holding together, a world ripping itself apart. They will slip into your dreams and overtake your memories. I don't know. It sounds really good. I've told you guys I want to read more historical fiction, so this will be another, yeah, I think I picked up 2. Yeah, so this will be the other historical fiction book that I picked up. This one's a big one, though. But definitely, I don't know a whole lot of, I don't think I know much about Ethiopia's fight for independence. So I love reading historical fiction, especially if it's about a time in history or a country and its time in history that I honestly can say I know nothing about. And, you know, I know I'm going to learn something from it. So I will definitely let you know how this one is. All right, the next one I did not wait in line for. My husband completely waited in line because I wanted to go to the one panel. I only went to one panel while I was there, and that was the future of the online book community. And at the same time they were doing that, they were doing the Dreaming Tree, and I definitely wanted to get a copy of this. It's about somebody who wakes up and they have a full body transplant. So I think it's a bit of a sci-fi thriller, which I think I've talked about I want to get into, especially after reading, what was that book? Especially after reading Dark Matter, I realized, oh, I've read so much sci-fi thrillers in the past, and I really want to start reading some more sci-fi thrillers. So this one just sounded really, really great. But obviously, I couldn't stand in line and go to the panel, so my husband stood in line. He and this guy obviously really, really hit it off because this is how it is signed. Natalie, you have the world's greatest husband. And there's a picture. I will try to either put it in the frame or I'll just show it to you really quick. But yeah, he got his picture taken and they obviously really hit it off and he really got along with this guy. So yeah, that was really exciting for my husband. And of course I got to get the book. I got 9 books for free, but I learned the ins and outs of BookCon. So if you ever want to go to BookCon and your primary focus is to get as many free books as you want, I have got it figured out. Probably next year I'll put a video out. I have figured it out. Now I'm not saying I want to do that again. Like I said, I only got to go to 1 panel. I actually am interested in going to more panels next year. There were workshops, there were all kinds of things, but being it was my first time, I did not want to overwhelm myself. But I definitely want to do more things next year, and I don't know if getting free books will be like my ultimate goal going next year. But this one obviously is not a arc because Descendant of the Crane is out. I believe this came out in the last month or two. I mean, it's came out pretty recently, but I have an interesting story to go with this. This is where I got a little upset. I was walking by this booth and I saw this lady and there was a display of books, and this was like the one that was in the middle, and I saw about 5 teenage girls who were by the booth, and this woman had this box and she was just passing out copies of this. So I'm like, oh my gosh, she's just passing out copies of Descendant of the Crane. I know a lot of people were reading this for the Asian readathon. I'm like, cool, another free book. So she passes it out to the 5 girls and I'm just standing there, and then she puts the book down and then she just looks at me. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what's going on. She just gave them free books. I think she just gave them free books. And then it occurred to me, wait a minute, maybe they paid for them and then I missed that part, and then they paid for them and then she was passing them out. Like, I was totally confused. So it's sitting right there up in the front. So I point to the book and I said, I'm sorry, is this book for sale? And she said, no, none of these books are for sale. And so I'm kind of giving her that look like, then what the heck did I just see? Why were you just giving away copies to the ladies that were literally, I mean, I was standing there as she was giving these books out. And I'm kind of looking at her like this, like I'm trying to process. I don't know what the next thing I should say is. You gotta realize I'm also very tired. And as I'm contemplating what my next thought should be, because I'm totally confused, this girl comes up next to me and she said, are you giving away free copies of Descendant of the Crane? And the lady's like, yes, I've only got 2 left. And then she hands her one. And then I look at her, I go, can I have the other one? And she kind of hands it to me, and I'm kind of looking at her like, obviously I was interested in this book. I was even offering to pay for this book, but you didn't think to give me the free copies you had on the floor. I don't know what was going on. Maybe she was exhausted too, but it really got me worked up. But hey, I got the book now. I heard it's great. But my goodness, I got so mad. I was like, what in the world is happening? I got 6 books that I actually bought. So let me show you the books that I bought, because you don't just get free books at BookCon, you also buy books at BookCon, and I think I got some good ones. So I saw Dorothy Must Die, and I have never heard of this book, even though I saw that it was a series, because there was maybe 3 or 4 of them kind of lined up. And I immediately picked it up, and it said on the back that this is supposed to be about the other girl from Kansas. It says, my name is Amy Gum. I'm the other girl from Kansas. I've been recruited and I've been given a mission. Remove the Tin Woodman's heart, steal the Scarecrow's brain, take the Lion's courage, and then Dorothy must die. Because supposedly when Dorothy went to Oz, she like really messed it up really bad. So, and I believe Amy also gets to Oz through a tornado as well, which is very believable because Kansas gets a lot of tornadoes. I lived in Oklahoma, which was below it, and Oklahoma got a lot of tornadoes, so it's not crazy to think that there would be more than one girl that would get picked up by a tornado. And if one tornado takes you to Oz, why wouldn't another one take you to Oz? I mean, you know, so it made sense, and it sounded really good. And I hope it's good because it's a series. Well, it is a series. So since it's a series, if it's good, then I have like 3 or 4 more to read. I think there were 4. But Dorothy Must Die. That just grabbed my attention right away. All right, the next book I bought was One of Us is Lying by Karen McManus. And from what I understand, this is a YA mystery thriller about 5 very different students that go to detention, and then one of them ends up murdered. And of course, they believe one of the other 4 did it. It kind of sounds like The Breakfast Club if there was a murder. That's the best way I can describe it, and that's all I can really say about it. And I've heard great things about this book, and I've heard not so great things about this book, but I do think this is a book that I will like, and I really hope so, because I really think it is, so I will let you know. Then I saw Beautiful Creatures by Cami Garcia and Margaret Stoll, and I know this is a movie, but I've never seen the movie, so yes, I've heard of Beautiful Creatures, but I picked it up and I read the back, and it says that Lena, I'm guessing it's Lena, is unlike anyone from her small southern town of Gatlin. She's struggling to conceal her power and a curse that has haunted her family for generations. And then there's another character named Ethan who has been counting the months until he can escape from Gatlin. And he's haunted by dreams of a beautiful girl he has never met. Lena moves into the town's oldest and most infamous plantation. Ethan is inexplicably drawn to her and determined to uncover the connection between them. This is also a series, and it sounded really good. I don't know, I have not heard anything about the movie other than I've heard of the movie, but really just reading the back of the book, it sounded good to me, and it's pretty thick too. So if you've read this or seen the movie, please let me know what you thought, because I'm kind of going in really blind on this one. The next one I picked up was Atlantia, I think it's Atlantia, by Ali Condi. She wrote the Match series. Now, I read Matched, and I thought Matched was pretty good. I didn't continue with the series, but I mean, I liked it enough that I found this interesting, especially when I read the back of it. And it's supposed to be about a girl who lives in an underwater city. Am I right? Yeah, she's in an underwater city called Atlantia, but she dreams of going up to the sand in the sky above. And then she has a twin who somehow leaves her, and there's all these questions about her mother's death. I don't know, a lot going on with this book. The main idea being that there's this underwater city, and that's pretty much what drew me to the book and the idea of the book. So I hadn't heard of this. Like I said, I read Match, but if any of you guys have heard of this or if you've read this, please let me know. It just sounded really cool to me. The whole idea of an I keep saying underworld, underwater city just sounded really cool to me. And then I got to Best the Boys, and this I have heard about on BookTube, and it sounds so great to me. It's supposed to be about a girl named Ren who lives in a society where boys are encouraged to, I guess, go to college and be successful, and women are just basically taught how to be wives. And there's this kind of weird scholarship where boys get to go into this mysterious labyrinth. I guess it's set up by some kind of eccentric rich person. I don't know the details, but the whole idea of going into a labyrinth sounded so cool to me. And I guess she somehow disguises herself as a boy because she wants to be a scientist and she wants those opportunities and doesn't just want to do wifely duties. And so she gets the opportunity to also go into this labyrinth. I'm just going to tell you, the idea of the labyrinth is what sold me. I was like, oh, that sounds really cool. So I've heard really great things about this book, and I will definitely let you know. And you let me know if you've already read it. Now, this last book I had to get because Katie from Katie's Bookish Escape says that this is the best book that she has read from 2019. She has mentioned it over and over and over, and in one of her last videos she mentioned it again, and I told her, I said, I'm going to get that book the next time I see it. Beartown by Frederick Bachman. I don't know a whole lot about it, something about a tiny community. Beartown hasn't been the best at anything in a long time, but down by the lake stands an old ice rink, and the town's junior ice hockey team are about to compete in the national semifinals, and they actually have a shot of winning. All the hopes and dreams of this place now rest on the shoulders of a handful of teenage boys. But I heard this book just is a little bit deeper than that. It's not just about hockey. It says it's only a game. It only resolves tiny insignificant things, such as who gets validation, who gets listened to. It allocates power and draws boundaries and turns some people into stars and others into spectators. That's all. But like I said, packed with wise insights into the human experience, and Katie has gone on and on about this book, so I have got to read this one for Katie. So Katie, this one is for you. Like I said before, I did not get to vlog BookCon, but I am going to list in my description AlyssaJ's vlog. It is amazing, and like I said, I make 2 or 3 appearances in it. That's not what makes it amazing, but you'll see me in it. I also got to meet Sophie from Sophie's Book Nook. I got to meet Christina from Christina Loves to Read. Is it Christina Loves to Read? All of a sudden I'm just going a blank, but you know who I'm talking about, Christina. I got to see her briefly, and I got to give her a hug. That's all I have for now. I am going to be filming my May wrap-up, but I don't think I'm going to film it till probably Saturday, so it'll either go out Saturday night or Sunday, and I'm so tired. I'm still tired from BookCon, just traveling and going to New York and walking around. If I lived in New York, I'd be like 30 pounds lighter, seriously. Oh my gosh. Definitely check out Books with AlyssaJ's vlog. You'll really get a much better idea of what BookCon is and what it's about. You'll get to see so many different booktubers, which is really, really cool. So that's all I have. As I always say, you may hit subscribe if you want to. I never want to make anybody feel like I'm telling them to hit subscribe. Hit it if you want. If you don't, that's okay too. This is a safe place. So I will check you guys out next time, probably this weekend. So see you later. Bye-bye.